welcome to another episode of the Life Coach Show where we create the standard. For the past couple of years, the world has been touting SDGs, Sustainable Development Goals. And as home economists and as people and individuals concerned about the family life, we wonder how the family can support in the achievement of SDGs or what the family is doing that goes against the achievement of the SDGs. Today we'll be talking about one aspect that is key to all of us. We all eat, right? Every day breakfast, we all go chop. Yes, who no chop breakfast? I'm sure we all do. So we'll talk to one astute lady who has written a white paper on food waste. And we'll try to figure out how food waste links to SDGs and how you and I can help curb food waste in our homes. So if you are ready, join me and let's talk to them awesome. Welcome back, viewers. We have Mrs. Henson with us today. Mrs. Henson, welcome to the Life Coach Show. Mrs. Henson, my viewers and I would like to know more about you.
Well, I am Jacinta Denta Henson, PhD student at Texas Tech University, and I'm studying Family and Consumer Science Education. And I was born and raised in the eastern part of Ghana in a small mining town called Akwetia. And so that's where I spent like 18 years of my life. And I began my basic education from a school that was established by the Diamond, is it the mining company?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's called GCD. At that time was Ghana Consolidated Diamonds Limited. So they had a school. So that's where I started my basic education. And so I started from the nursery. I went to primary 1 to primary 6 in the same school, and I completed the JSS also in that same school. And from there, I successfully passed my BEC, and I went to St. Rosie Senior High School. So Rosa.
Hey, Rosa.
I'm a Rosa.
Okay,
yeah.
That's nice.
So at St. Rosie Senior High School, I did home economics education, and I really had interest. My favorite subject was management in living. So I also wanted to continue with home economics. So I got the opportunity and I had admission to University of Education, Winneba.
Alma mater, alma mater, yes.
So in the University of Education, Winneba, I did a bachelor's degree in home economics education. And so thankfully I graduated with a degree in home economics, and just before I graduated, I found the love of my life. So at UEW,
UEW to the whole
so at
world.
UEW, I would say I had 2 degrees, a bachelor's degree in home economics and
a writer degree.
Yes. So because of my interest in management in living, when I decided to pursue a master's degree, I chose to focus or specify in what we call family life education, which is also like management in living. So in the same University of Education, Winneba, I did my master's degree in family life education. I graduated, and I think just before, a semester after I started my master's degree, I got married. And so I'm a proud mother of 2. I'm a wife. So I got married,
Then, that's nice, that's nice.
I got married and I gave birth, so yeah. So I pursued my master's degree, I graduated, and I think a year before my graduation, I got the opportunity to teach at one of the senior high schools in Ghana, and I taught management in living, my favorite subject.
Oh, that's nice.
So after 3 years, thankfully, I got the opportunity to work in my alma mater, and so I became a faculty member at University of Education, and I worked there for 2 good years.
Yeah, that's where we actually met.
Yeah.
You know, during the working days.
Yeah.
Okay.
So within that 2 years, I came across lots of lovely people, and she was one of those lovely people I met. So after 2 years, God being so good, I got the opportunity to pursue my PhD. So that's how come I came to the United States of America. And so I'm currently in Texas Tech University doing a PhD, also in family and consumer science education.
That's awesome. And I like the fact that so the passion of home economics took you through the various stages from second cycle, first degree, second, and now you're doing a PhD in family and consumer science. So guys, I keep telling you, home economics has diverse range of things that you can do. And so I think we're going to delve a bit deeper into her PhD studies. I believe the semester went well.
Yeah.
You're on vacation now, it's getting to summer.
Yes.
Awesome. The team and I chanced upon a white paper that you wrote. And so we would like you to tell us a bit more about the white paper. We believe there's something on SDGs. So if you can tell us about the white paper and why SDGs. I mean, how does it even relate to home economics? Remember, the Life Coach Show, we are here to create a standard.
Wow, so my white paper is on reducing household food waste as a way of contributing to sustainable future. And it's more into like sustainable development goals. And over the years, household food waste have been a major global concern because researchers have identified that household food waste contributes significantly to the global food waste. And so in an attempt, the UN had I think in 2015 they developed the sustainable development goals. They had 17 goals that they aim to achieve by the end of 2030. And sustainable goal 2, which talks about zero hunger by 2030, and sustainable goal 12, which also talks about responsible consumption and production.
Sustainable goal 12, which will also be achieved by 2030.
By 2030, good. And so my paper basically examines the various importance of household food waste. It also highlights some causes and some effects of household food waste on the environment. And then finally, it talks about some possible sustainable solutions in helping to reduce household food waste. So in developing this paper, I came across an interesting finding, which is research. A lot of research has gone into reducing household food waste, and some researchers came out that one vital or critical solution to help reduce household food waste is that there has to be education, or there has to be an awareness creation to help consumers in reducing household food waste. But then other researchers also found out that just educating people or consumers on the effect of household food waste and how to reduce the food waste doesn't solely, or it's not really effective in reducing food waste. And so some other researchers also came up with other possible solutions, and one particular solution they came up was the food purchasing plan. So basically what this food purchasing plan talks about is that before you go out to purchase food items into your home or your household to make or prepare meals for your families, you need to plan accordingly. So before you step out to the grocery shop, you have to have a list of items you want to buy, and you don't just make a list, you need to make lists that you don't have at your home at that particular time. So you don't buy things that you already have, so that
you don't do impulse buying,
and you don't have to keep them for longer hours or like longer days in your home. So you make a list and then know the number of people you will be cooking for, maybe in a week or in a month. Know that, okay, so within this week I'll be cooking for this number of people, so I need to buy food that will be able to cater for these people at this particular time. So it has been identified that one, overbuying is a major contributor to household food waste, because you overbuy the things, you keep them for too long, and they end up rotting, spoiling, and those things.
But if I may cut in, so does it mean that food waste is only, are we only talking about like the overbuying, food going to waste, or a bit of clarification? I'm just taking us back. What is food waste?
So when we talk of food waste, the United Nations define food waste as the intentional or the unintentional loss or discarding of food that is still edible
Okay.
So if the food is still edible and then you lose it or you discard it, you are wasting food.
Okay.
Yeah. So overbuying, overcooking. So at the end of the day, you may cook because you didn't consider the number of people you are cooking for. You cook for like a large meal and then you end up eating just a few, and then you may want you just discard it. So it's also termed as food waste. So losing food or discarding food that is still edible is what we call food waste.
Oh, that is so. If so, the goal here is that if we are able to manage our resources well, so you make a budget, you make a purchasing plan, you know the number of people, you have a menu, and so the menu will guide you on what to buy for the week. You go for your shopping and then you buy what you need. More food will be available to be able to give it to other people in other parts of the world that are suffering from hunger. So then that is how this
So you remember I mentioned that my paper was in relation to Sustainable Goal 2. And Sustainable Goal 2 aims to eliminate hunger by 2030. And so when we continue to reduce household food waste, I mentioned earlier that household food waste contributes significantly to the global food waste. And so when we are able to reduce household food waste, in a way, we are reducing global food waste. And so the food that we don't waste. If you don't waste the food, you end up having enough food to feed people who do not have food. So in a way, we are achieving goal 2, which is zero hunger by 2030.
That is good. So viewers, today we are learning a lot that we need to reduce. You know, usually when we talk about food waste, we are always referring to the hospitality industry, like the restaurants, whether in main restaurants or restaurants in hotels. But we forget that household family, we take up majority of the space.
And one interesting thing that I also came across when I was writing this paper was that when we take the global food waste, household food waste takes 60% of the food waste globally. So when we take restaurant food waste in the restaurants, hospitals, it doesn't even come close. The household within the family
where you and I live,
61% of all food waste globally comes from the household.
You see? And so sometimes, you know, when we talk about SDGs, people are asking SDGs, it doesn't bother me, it doesn't concern me. It's about the government. Even though we know you're part of government, when we talk about the government, you're talking about those in the office spaces. But we are saying that the things that we do, our everyday life activities that we undertake, contributes to the overall achievement of the SDGs. And so because of these everyday activities, that is impacting the world issues. And so we are being called upon, and I'm really enjoying this episode. I believe that is what this paper is about. It's about education. It's about getting the awareness there. You are being called upon to reduce the food we waste in our home. And we are not just talking about the convenience food, but the raw food, all of that. And as we reduce it, and am I right to say that in reducing the food waste, when you know there's some food that can be recycled, for example, and in food and nutrition, for example, we are being called upon to reshuffle dishes. So maybe you've cooked rice and stew, you've eaten it for the first 2 days, you are tired, you just want to change it, so you can mix it up and just create some jollof, add some vegetables.
So for us, you don't discard the edible food, you are not wasting it. So if
intentionally
you keep it,
or unintentionally.
So when you keep it and then reuse it later, the reshuffle dishes, you are not wasting it because you are consuming it. But then when you discard it or you lose it, like you allow it to spoil over time, and
so we don't preserve it well. Okay, so I think guys, we have another topic. We need to do something on preservation. Okay.
So basically, if you don't discard it, but then you consume it, you are not wasting it. So the intentional or unintentional loss or discarding of the food is what we call the food waste.
Guys, I believe you are enjoying this show and you've learned a lot. What is there anything your final say to us? How can we make sure it's sustained, because it's about the sustainable development? So in our homes, Are there any pointers you're going to give us?
Yeah, so
as we
before
round
that,
up?
I would like to talk about field effect or
Okay.
impact of this food waste
yeah.
on sustainability. So what I came across during my writing my paper was some effects of household food waste. The global effect is that it adds to global warming. So people wouldn't even think I'm just trashing my food. How is that going to affect global warming?
Exactly.
But because it has a direct link or it contributes to global food, we take a lot of resources to discard these things, and it affects the
and even some of these foods, I'm told, as it goes bad, it emanates gases that are harmful.
Yeah. So it affects the climate, it affects global, like a whole lot of effects. So in as much as possible, we need to reduce the number of food or the amount of food we waste in our various homes.
So, dear friends, it's not about the fact that you have a lot of money. So you just go out and you buy everything. You have money, but you need to be prudent about it. The fact that you have a backyard garden does not mean you have to go and pluck everything and bring it home and then you leave it to waste. Food waste, it says intentional or unintentional discarding. So even if you throw it to the garbage, it's intentional. Unintentional means that we even have to be careful so that we don't easily spill. There are some people, one cooking they are doing, they will spill and because it spills they have to then do a new set. And some people, even when something small happens, they change the whole dish. They're like, I don't want to eat it again. All these contribute to food waste. And the more food goes to waste, remember, other people are in other countries and other parts of the world that need this food. But if you're able to be conscious, be good consumers in our spaces, there will be much food to be able to share to other parts of the world. Because the more you buy, the more the producers feel that they have to ship more food to your area. But it might mean that you do not necessarily need it. It's just that you've been wasting food. But if we are able to work on it and then make a purchasing plan, do a budget, have a good menu, and we're able to stay within our means, then extra will be left to be shared to other places. Madam Jacinta, it's been good having you on the show. We hope that the next time we call on you, you'll be available to share with us. And then we will be staying with her to see how the journey, your PhD, like I think we would really, I think maybe after a year or two, we'll just catch up with her to see how family consumer science PhD is going, and then if there are any tidbits to give to young people out there who are studying home economics and trying to find, especially management in living. You know, people feel like that there's no hope when you do management in living. So that we will go a bit deeper and then you can have the life experience. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
We'll catch you